want to start by saying thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to me. But thank you so much. I'm going to start off by asking you, I have like questions here pulled up. I'm going to start asking you my first question. How long have you been an au pair?
It's been a year and 8 months now.
Okay. And how has the
Yes,
experience been?
it's been good. Like I'm one of those people that have had a really good experience. Mainly because I have a nice family and I'm comfortable where I am. I think it's been good.
That's good. And how old were you when you started or joined the program?
I was 19.
Okay, you were just
Yeah.
a baby.
Well, I was supposed to start when I was 18 because it was supposed to be a gap year, but then pandemic and it delayed me for a whole year. So yeah.
And how did you find out about the program?
Applied when I was still in high school. Like I said, it was supposed to be a gap year. The agency came to our school and they did a whole presentation thing. So I took like a pamphlet and then I researched about that. At that point, like I was still applying to universities and stuff because I wasn't sure if I actually wanted to take a gap year or I wanted to go to university. And then like a couple months later, I called the agency and like wanted more information.
Mhm.
And yeah,
And then after that, you were sold.
yeah, they were able to like convince me.
Yeah, that's the same thing that happened to me. They came to our school, had this whole thing. Yeah, oh my gosh, guys, au pairing is so amazing. You should do this, you should do that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. I was like literally still a baby. Did you feel anything about the program recruiting practices like predatory?
Can you like elaborate?
Like, do you feel like because they come to high schools or they come to us while we're still babies, do you think that it's a predatory way of recruiting?
I think yeah, it's one of their strategies because
Mhm.
like firstly we are taking about like the whole traveling thing and being in a different country and like finding yourself concept. And yeah, I think that's one of their main focuses, like target the younger people. It's not like brainwash, but like yeah.
Yeah, like fill you in with these ideas
Mhm.
and this
Yeah.
perception. Yeah. Okay. So I want to know more about your au pairing experience. Like you've been an au pair for a year and 8 months. Have you stayed with the same family or did you extend?
So I'm still with the same family.
Girl, why don't you want some extension vibes?
Yeah, so when I got here, I was like, I've always been like a very nervous person. Like meeting new people. Doing this was very out of my comfort zone, and I had to like adjust in terms of like finding friends. And I'm not a person who like adjusts easily to change. So I
Mhm.
think that's one of the reasons why I still stay with the same family. And it was also the fact that I was like comfortable with them and I was enjoying the first year. I thought it would be, more interesting. And like I am a very emotional person. I don't let go of people easily. So
Mhm.
I felt as if I stay longer, then I can still continue to be a part of their family. And yeah.
I because you are still with the family, I don't want you to reveal too much and you can reveal as much as you can. But for example, like is everything being done in like is everybody following the rules the way they're supposed to?
Like a lot has changed obviously like over the past 2 years, but I think it's still like mainly still focused on me being restricted to childcare services and I'm not doing more than I should, and all about respecting each other's boundaries even though I've been with them for such a long time. So yeah, we are still following the rules and it's still, I mean, like there's times where I feel like, yeah.
Bona, just everything. Feel like what everything.
Like with the hours, sometimes I feel like they add because they know what's, oh, she's generous with her time and you know she's used to it now.
Mhm.
But yeah, we just need to remind each other of like, hey, this needs to happen and this is what I'm capable of and I cannot do beyond this certain point. Yeah.
And how many kids do you have? Damn, what are the ages, girl? Girl.
uh, Everyone says that. Everyone's like, girl. So that's 7, 6, 4, and 2.
Okay, it's kind of spread apart in a way, but it's still a lot. girl,
Yeah.
I just started getting flashbacks. Because I had 4 kids too.
For both yours?
No, 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 no. For the first year, I
Okay.
had 4, and then I was like, I need
Mm-hmm.
something different. I need a change of scenery, change of schedule, everything. Because my first year, it was all about work, work, work. I was working a lot. And my second year, I was like, I just want to chill. I just want to travel. I just want to do all that fun stuff. So I made it my goal to find a family that had children who were in school, number one, and number two, children who didn't need me to do a lot for them. It worked out because then my second year family had 3 kids, but really was 2 kids because the other one was in boarding school. So I had 2 kids, which was like 10 and 12. I just drove them to school and back. And it was like easy and good. So, what would you say is the most difficult part about being an au pair?
Well, I'd say like when they told me like the whole thing when they were like advertising and stuff, the agency they don't tell you that you're literally working a 9 to 5, and they don't tell you that. I mean, obviously, like when I was back home, I used to like convert and be like, oh, it's gonna be a lot of money per week, that kind of stuff. But compared to the lifestyle here and you having to like support yourself and do things like basically on your own, yeah, I feel like they should have been honest about that because, yeah, one of the hardest things is literally working 9 to 5 and the payment, it's not sufficient to regarding the work you do.
Okay. And in terms of like homesickness or like making friends or like, just the whole part of the being
Socializing.
abroad or the
Mhm.
being abroad aspect of it, like being in a new different country, what was difficult or what is difficult?
So when I got there, it wasn't pandemic anymore. And we could like go out and stuff. And we had an area director meeting, that type of thing. And I mean, I met some girls, but most of them were like from different countries, and I was the only South African. A lot were from Brazil. So, I mean, we hung out with those girls after the meeting for like 3, 4 times, but then they'd like speak Portuguese most of the time, and I'd be like isolated because I don't understand Portuguese. So I'd say the aspect, firstly, is making friends. That was, you needed like an adjustment because most of the time I like go on self dates or I'd stay indoors, and I literally do things with the family during the weekends because I didn't have anyone to hang out with.
Mhm.
So my first year, I only made friends like halfway through. Yeah, my second year, because she moved to a different state. Now I basically don't have any friends. Yeah, and I feel like that also contributes to like being homesick because the moment you're like just by yourself and you're not hanging out with anyone, you just want to go home.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I usually hang out with my boyfriend or
Hey, girl. Shake
yes,
that.
or I'm literally always home. But I've learned to like enjoy my own space. I've been learned to like enjoy going on self dates by myself or hanging out by myself. It's become an okay thing.
Yeah. And what did you or do you know anyone that has faced any abusive behavior, like being overworked or like verbal abuse or manipulation or anything of that matter?
From my host family, no, I haven't experienced such a thing. But like being, because I have a white family and I'm like the black girl, so we like go out sometimes and I'd receive racial comments from other people, like me being with white kids and stuff like that.
Mm.
So I think that was the main thing. But besides that, yeah,
Which state are you living in?
I'm in Virginia,
Which part of Virginia?
Chantilly.
Girl, you in the area I used to live in. Okay.
Really?
Well, I used to volunteer at Chantilly Library, but we lived in, I don't know if you know where Fairfax is. Maybe it's about
Oh
20
yeah, yeah,
to 30 minutes. We used to live in
yes, yeah.
Fairfax. That is really, really odd because the DMV area is known to be diverse or
Mm.
like the melting pot or whatever. So I'm sorry you experienced that. That was also one of my biggest fears coming from South Africa, coming from a country that, has a very racist background and history. So I made it my goal in the first year to find a family that was mixed, and that went fine. And we lived in Virginia. And I guess maybe because we were mixed, it seemed as if I was their daughter, or it didn't feel like I was an outsider. Whereas my second year, I had an all white family and we lived in California. So California is also considered one of those like super diverse places. Unfortunately, I'm sorry you experienced the racial comment and there's a term I'm looking for, microaggressions. So yeah. So was the experience anything that you had ever imagined?
The whole au pair experience.
Yeah.
So there's some good parts and bad parts. I'll
Okay,
start with
let's hear it. Let's start with the bad parts and then end with the good
okay.
parts.
Okay, bad parts is I wasn't prepared to like be working every single day. I thought it was like maybe a 3 day thing or that type of thing. I wasn't prepared to like be lonely in a different country and literally have to do things by myself. And being homesick, like I haven't been so far away from family for such a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like not having anyone to like talk that was like close. I mean, you can always call home, but
Mhm,
there's always a sense of like someone literally being there to give you a hug.
mhm,
So that was pretty hard for me. I'd say the good part is I got to like figure out what I actually want, like finding myself. Because I feel like if I did go to university, I would have pursued a degree that I wasn't comfortable with, mainly because of pressure from parents and that type of stuff. Traveling, it's been pretty cool, like going to all those destinations and doing the different experiences and like being in the US. I know like stereotype people, you living in America, you're supposed to have it all figured out, that type of thing. So having to accept that and people from back home being like, hey girl, you in America, can you send me a couple dollars, like the expectations,
yeah.
um those were very hard to deal with, and having to cut people off because they were just not adding any value to your life, even
Mm,
though, yeah,
mm,
yeah, that's basically it.
yeah. So, what would your advice be, or tips, tricks, whatever, to a young potential au pair out there that's about to start the process? Maybe you know, some girl in high school or some guy in high school looking to do this experience. What would you tell them?
I'll tell them that you need to be prepared to be working full time. You need to be prepared to, I mean, I know they're your host family, but you're basically living with other people. So you need to respect their boundaries, and it's not your house at the end of the day. The payment, don't expect to be making $500 a week. It's not that. You are going to be homesick. It is going to be hard. You are going to get frustrated. And not every day is going to be all smiles and giggles. There are going to be days where you just don't want to wake up and you just don't want to do anything. But
Mhm.
you're going to have to because, and I'd say, like, to someone who's actually really wanting to do this, you have to be committed. So once you start it, you're going to have to hold on until the end. Yeah.
Aw, that's really good advice. I appreciate your honesty and your sincerity and taking time out of your day to talk to me. Those were the list of the questions that I had. And usually, so if you don't have anything else to add on whatever you have said. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot a question. Wait. Do you feel like you have support from your LCC? Like if you have an issue of some sort, or maybe if you never had an issue, but do you feel like they're always there for you?
So when I got here, we had the first meeting, and with my old LCC, it was one meeting, and then she left, and we got a different one. And the different one, she hardly made contact. She hardly emailed or texted or be like, "Hey, there's a." Even though it was like virtual, she'd only like send us like those automated emails that you have to log in to answer the monthly updates, that type of thing. But she wouldn't do like personal phone calls and checking up on how everything's doing. So I feel like that was also a bit tricky to handle because there's no one else. Like if you need a complaint, there's no one else you can complain to.
Mhm.
Um, So yeah, I feel like my LCC could have done a better job than like in terms of communication and
Yeah, the program needs to be reformed. Well, those are all the questions I had for you and to find out about your experience. And I appreciate you once again tuning in, answering, and taking time out of your day, your Sunday, to chat to me for a little bit. I just want you to know that if you ever need someone to talk to, if you need, like, hey, somebody to call, whatever the case might be, if I'm not busy, listen, girl, I am here for you. I want to make sure that, I am there for people who need support and assistance. I mean, I can't do much because I'm a student, but girl, I could at least answer a phone call. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, other than that, thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good
Bye.
Sunday. Bye.